In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks that you can use to get more out of your gouache paint, and a couple of additions that you can make to your thumb box to give it a little bit more versatility. Also, if you're a gouache student, I have a special request from you, so stay till the end. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sergio Lopez, and I'm sharing with you a lot of gouache tips on my YouTube channel. So one of the things I want to show you is how to get a little bit more out of your paint when you store them in one of these little paint saver boxes. It's the paint saver palette that I recommend if you make one of the thumb boxes that I built here. And there's a little tutorial on my channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should check that out first. So when you get one of these, normally what most people do is add a little bit of water to their palette and mix it up, and they're good to go. And so for the most part, that's all you really need to do. However, I did discover a few tips and tricks to make your paint go a little longer way for you. Let's get into those, all right? Okay, so one of the things that we can do when we have our paint box here is, let's open it up, check out what we got. So here's my paint, and right now I recently restocked some of the paints in the wells here. But to do that, you can normally, just take one of these little squeeze bottles and add a little water to them, and take a paper clip and mix in your paint that way. And that's perfectly fine. It will definitely serve its purpose in that way. But watching one of Lena Revo's videos, she likes to use blending medium from Winsor Newton to be able to do the same thing, but it gives a little bit more substance to your paint rather than just diluting it with water. I've also been experimenting with gum arabic as also a medium, because that is the binder in watercolor traditionally, and watercolor and gouache are interchangeable for that reason, because they use that same binder. And just gouache, they add more pigment and usually some sort of agent to make it more opaque, such as calcium, and there are a couple other things I believe are also used. And M-gram gouache also uses honey as a binder. So I think it's a combo of gum arabic and honey that they use. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I do. You can take some blending medium, and I got a couple of little eyedroppers, the local tap plastic here. So just grab, you only need one drop, and handle it there. Then just mix it in like so. And then do the same with the gum arabic. I'm still experimenting to see which one is better, if you should just use one or the other, or a combo of both. But the gum arabic, just use one more. Seems to be a little less fluid, so if you want a little more viscosity to your gouache, as some people might, you can try it that way. And one last thing I want to show you, though, you can do this by hand, and that didn't take too long. But what if you're going to squeeze in some fresh white paint, or whatever paint you're using, and you want to do it all in one go, and you want to save a little time, or maybe you have like one of these with 24 wells, and you don't want to spend all that time reconstituting your paint that's kind of drying out. So what you could do instead is I got one of these, which is a paint mixer that you can buy off of Amazon. It's a little battery operated little gadget here, and it's mostly used for, you know, mixing little things together in chemistry labs and things like that. But instead of doing it that way, because the way that it comes with these, with a weird little thing at the end of it. So what I did is I took a little piece of a paper clip, cut it off, and then molded it to the end of the little paint mixer. So now I got a little mixer. And there you go. Saves you a little time. And I thought that when I first got this, it would kind of splash around, but it seems to not do that too badly at all. So you can do that with freshly squeezed paint. And then we could also reconstitute some of the stuff that's starting to dry out a bit. Take a little bit of our blending medium again, just add a drop or two. By the way, this won't work if the paint is completely stiff, because this little machine won't be able to mix it. But yeah, you can see with the liquid, it's starting to reconstitute. Starting to get a little gummy there. You mix it in enough, and it starts to fluff back up and be, see, there you go. We can grab a little bit of our white, see what that looks like. And yeah, it changes the consistency of the paint and the feel of it a little bit, but I found that I like it more than just using straight water. Just water kind of dilutes it a little too much, but with a little bit of gum arabic and blending medium, you can still keep the consistency of the gouache that you like and not make it feel more watery in your palette when you're mixing and painting. So I hope that helps. And yeah, let me know what you think, if you like this tip or not. Okay, cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed those little tips. And now I'm going to show you a couple little additions you can make to your thumb box to give it a little bit more versatility. So let's head over to my studio, all right? In this video, I'm going to show you a couple little mods for your thumb box. One is super simple and easy, and the other one is a little bit more involved. But the first one, if you are getting tired of painting just tiny little pieces and want to paint, say, a 5x7 or even 6x8, all you gotta do is just go back to Tap Plastics and get a 5x7 sheet of foam PVC, just like the other stuff that you made the box out of, and just have it cut a 1/2 inch longer than the sheets that you plan on painting on. So for example, this is a 5x7 sheet of paper, and therefore I had it cut to 5.5 by 7.5. So all you have to do is just tape it down. And there you go. You just tape it down like you would any other sheet of paper to your larger box, and then set it on here and then clip it. And another thing you could do is just put a soft little piece of Velcro across the back of your thumb box, and then the side of Velcro tape to the back of your little panel here. just gives you an extra little bit of grip. I don't have any extra Velcro tape in my studio at the moment, but that's what I plan on doing with this later on. And then, yeah, there you go. It adds a little bit of extra weight, of course, but it's not terrible. But yeah, you just hold on to it like you were painting the smaller panels on it. And speaking of smaller panels, I'll show you the other mod that I made for this. So one of the things that I realized I like doing is painting on these 2.5 by 3.5 little panels. I think I showed you these on my other video. But the problem was it was a little bit cumbersome and a little unreliable to only use double-sided sticky tape for holding these panels to my box here. So what instead I did was I built a little panel holder, a little mini panel holder for my thing. So this just fits in just like so, and it's just like having a little easel. So I'll show you how I make one of these. All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is when you go to Tap Plastics to get this guy, go ahead and get yourself a little 3.5 by 3.5 inch foam PVC panel. It doesn't matter the color. And also have them cut you the same size, 3.5 of these little pieces of plastic are normally for like a card holder, like a little business card or something you can put on it. What we're going to do with this guy is cut it in half using a little hacksaw. I should have done this for my 5x7 inch panel, but I'll do that later off screen. But sand off the edges just so it's a little easier to deal with. All right, now that that's done, let's cut this in half, okay? Okay, so now we have the two pieces that we're going to use, and they're gonna fit on top of each other. And so we're gonna cut off the excess part of this side so that we're left with a little two lips to hold our panels in place. So that's what we're gonna do next. Okay, there we have our two pieces. Okay, so now that we have our pieces, we're going to figure out just how much of a space in between the two pieces we're going to give ourselves. So I'm using this as a guide, and what I decided when I was making this first one is that I wanted to give myself a little bit of space so that I could clip this holder down to my panel if I wanted to. That just gives itself a way that this won't move at all. So I'm gonna leave myself, I don't know how much space that is. It's about 1 inch of space. So if you have some double-sided tape around, this will probably really help you keep things in place. So take our little square here and find the area. Make sure that one of the lips, sand these pieces down just so that they're not splintering anymore. You can go ahead and do that. You can approximate what 1 inch is going to be, or you can measure it, doesn't matter. So it's about there, and let's put a piece of double-sided tape there to make sure that it doesn't move on us. Let's see, where were we at with this? There. And then we'll take our panel that we are going to decide it's going to be the preferred size that we paint at. And I'll make it just slightly less than that, just like a few millimeters shorter than that, so that when I put it in here, it's really snug. So, all right. Okay, so that's 2.5 by 3.5, and maybe just like a 32nd of an inch or so underneath. Okay, that's still too loose. You can put it down and then keep adjusting. So maybe that's about 1/16 of an inch underneath. Okay, that's a little too much. Okay, that's pretty snug. I like that. So, there's 2 methods of keeping this together. Well, maybe 3. If you trust your double-sided tape enough, maybe you could just put a couple of slices of tape underneath, and that will hold it together for long enough. But if we want to be a little more cautious about it, we could mark off where we are, back of it, and then take some really strong glue, like E6000 or something, and let that cure. And that's probably the second safest way to do it. But the way that I did it for mine is I actually drilled a couple of little screws into it. And so now it's held together by a couple screws. And one more advantage of doing it that way is the little parts of the screw that come out the other side of it, I made little holes in my thumb box panel backing so that these slip in like little pegs, which make it possible to use this even without clips if I really want to. So it'll just stay there. See, like I have to really like pry it out, but otherwise it just stays in just like that. So that's how we'll do it for this one here. So what we're gonna do is find like the thinnest parts of our thing here, where these little holders meet the backing, and we're gonna drill holes into them. Let's first mark it off. So do one there and maybe one there. Doesn't totally matter exactly where they are, but just enough so that, actually I'll bring that in a little more. So yeah, probably about 1/4 inch in from the edges there. Doesn't really matter. And then I got the screwdriver, and I actually just bought a little plastic drill bit, which will probably help me a little more. And let's just go ahead and just like butter. And what we'll be doing is screwing these into these little drill holes. But first, let's make sure these all line up. Okay. Together. Make sure the holes line up. Though it doesn't look like the hole lines up so much in this one, so just enough. Poke through and not through your panel. Alright. So it turns out these little holes are not big enough, so we'll take the next size up and finish the job. Okay, I'll drill the screws in now. All right, and there you are, perfectly good panel holder. And normally it's best to find a set of screws that are as shallow as possible. These kind of stick out a little bit more than I normally would want them to, but when you clip it down, okay, let's do it like I'm doing it for this side. Pretend I am left-handed. So when I clip it down to where I think I will want to keep these, I'm just gonna press into the soft foam to make little indentations where these screws are gonna go. So when you look at it really closely, you can see where they go. And we'll drill little holes into it. It's a shame to mess up my stickers. But yeah, once those go in, then these stay together like that. And what you can also do is once these go in all the way, you can just continue to drill them in. So there you are. They slip in. And you got yourself a little mini panel holder. All right. Well, I hope that will help you make the most out of your next plein air outing, especially if you use one of my thumb boxes that I showed you how to build. So yeah, if this helped you at all, consider giving this video a like, maybe leave a comment. And if you'd like to see more of these tips, feel free to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the next tip. I got a couple things in the works that will be a little bit more educational on painting rather than just modding your setup. But yeah, let me know what you guys like. If you want to see more actual painting tips, or if you'd like to see some more gear related things, not just my own gear, but more reviews and things like that. As always, the feedback is super appreciated. Oh yeah, and one last thing. I'm looking for help. So let me know if this sounds like you. You're a gouache artist who's beginning to understand the medium, but still has plenty to learn. You know, you've taken a bunch of online courses, or maybe just a few, and got a few good tips from them, but you're still left wanting for a lot more. So my goal is to help elevate the medium of gouache to its rightful place as a fine art medium worthy of museum walls. So in order to do that, I want to both elevate my own work and help you as a student to unlock the potential of this awesome medium. So let's master this medium together. I'd love to chat with you over Zoom to help me build a new online venture that I'm working on. It would mean the world to me if we could hop on a quick call where I could ask you a few questions and I could help you on your path to discovery. And just to be clear, it's not a sales call. It's just for my own personal research. So comment below and I'll get in touch with you and we can try and link up over email. So yeah, hope to hear from you and I'll see you in the next video.